Hello.
Greetings.
It's Monday. It's a day late. My internet works okay today. Yesterday it wasn't working at all. So, bonus.
He's been battling with that for what? Almost a month now, Chad?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what happened to the after party? Well, I mean, the after party's on Wednesdays. So, this is the
podcast. Pre-party to the after party.
Or it's the after
the weekly Geekly.
That's pregame.
So, maybe that means you get 2 weekly Geeklies this week?
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
There's an upside to everything, Chat.
Yeah, that is true. It is Monday. Yes. So we're doing it a day later, but same content, same time, just different day. All right. So as usual, I am joined by Cyber Ninja.
Hey, Chat, how's it going? Happy late
Omega
fathers out there.
That's right. Would have been
or anyone that fills that role.
Right.
Why is there a gnat here now?
I don't know. Because it's the summertime. Maybe I don't know.
Whole pre-show nothing now. Look.
And of course, Omega has no insects because he is on a starship right now. So
yes, the air is filtered and sanitized throughout the starship, throughout the vessel.
Right. Greetings. So he's good to go. So do you have your ears in?
No, because without the headphones, you wouldn't be able to see them anyway.
I mean, I was asking that do you I mean, I have them.
Like,
you could have been like, yeah, I have them on. Like, you wouldn't have known. You could have just lied and said
they're like over there somewhere.
But Vulcans don't lie, so therefore, I guess that's probably why
Vulcans do lie.
Anyway, so we have several topics today. The main topic being obviously Loki episode 2, the variant, which we got on Wednesday. It's really weird because we get it so early now. It feels like we've got plenty of days to This is why I didn't care about putting like a spoiler in the thumbnail because it's already been so long.
Yeah, what we got
doesn't matter.
8 hours before the next episode.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Supergirl costume that was revealed on social media. It's not official looks, but it's been like they're filming outside, so there's probably a 50 or 60 pictures of it. We're going to talk a bit about the Guardians of the Galaxy game and some of the stuff that's going to be coming to that. And Kevin Feige had some comments about the future of the MCU, not the TV division, but just the movie division in general. So there we go. Before we get started, though, what have you guys been up to? What has your week been like? It has been so hot here, and we almost had a tropical storm today. So were you guys afraid? Were you scared?
So tropical storm wise, I didn't even know it was coming until I looked outside and I'm like, it's kind of gloomy out. Let me check the rain. And then I look at a weather app and I'm like, oh, we just missed a tropical storm warning. I wasn't paying attention. So much stuff's been going on. I usually check the weather. I haven't even been checking it lately.
And we're really, really close to selling my mother's house. So.
Well, putting it up.
Yeah. Well, putting it up for sale. We're like by the end of this week, we should be done with a lot of the.
I actually spoke to the realtor today. We'll talk about that after air.
Okay. What about you, Omega? What's been going on? How are things happening? Are you working for Starfleet now?
Working for Starfleet means you don't make any money because there's no money in the Federation.
Right.
But there's money with DS9.
What about Latinum?
Yeah, but there's money with DS9 and with the Gold Press Latinum.
Nerd alert.
Anyway, shut up. The weekly, where else? But I had an interview today. I had an offer. I'm just kind of waiting for other stuff to come in. So I pretty much have another job already.
That's
I'm just kind of waiting. Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting on.
Look at that.
What other people say. So yeah, I'm doing fine.
Offers. You might be getting like 5 job offers. You never know.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. But I have been playing.
Chilling.
Yeah, I've been streaming some more PSO2. The servers are unscrewed up now. It's fairly decent now.
Good.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah.
I watched his stream, chat. I was like, I'm going to tune into a mega stream. He always tunes into mine, right? I go in there. The first mission, he's helping Neo out, who's one of the other people that frequents my streams and plays with us. His game literally crashes. He comes back in, tries to rejoin, and never gets back in. So he's telling you the servers are fine. I did not witness this. I'm just saying. I did not.
That was that one time. That was the first and only time that has happened.
You get 2 minutes tops when somebody joins your stream to keep them interested. All I saw was nothing.
After that, it was fine.
Says Omega. The only way to know that for sure is to follow him on Twitch and see when he goes live.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
It's really sporadic, but we have a good time.
By the way, anybody...
I was about to say I might be doing some You know that game with Commander Shepard and Rex and Garrus?
Mass Effect?
Yeah, that game. I might be playing that soon.
How did you forget that name?
I don't know.
So, Gamerman 9000, Gamerman X 9000 super chat. I'm back. His channel got screwed up from live streaming the other day. He actually ended up with like multiple spamming violations or something. Ooh. He was telling me about it. So I'm glad you're back.
That's
yeah, but it was really weird. It was actually yesterday. If we would have streamed, we possibly could have gotten the same issue or whatever. So YouTube, yay. By the way, anybody from the chat that was in the path of the storm, how are things? Was it bad? Was it not? Because we really didn't have anything here. So
I thought we were going to get like rain and thunderstorms. We got like just cloudy weather and humidity.
Here we got a little bit of rain, not really anything else. So yeah, no, it's not happening. Just because it's filming now doesn't mean it's coming out. It's not happening.
All right, so let's start out with our first topic. This is a quick one. I just want to briefly talk about this because we brought it up the other day, and that's the Guardians of the Galaxy game. So it says here, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy game will include MCU outfits because it's literally the same characters.
Why didn't they just freaking do that from the beginning?
It says it's also, so surprisingly, I'm going to read this part. We have a lot of outfits in the game. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy executive narrator, Mary DeMarle told Game Reactor. Oh, yeah, I was like Game Reactor. Okay. I think we have around 39 different outfits that are in game, and they're inspired by everything from the movies to the comics. So you'll find some very classic outfits, all the cosmetics. They don't affect the abilities or how anyone plays. Now, here's the thing. In Fortnite, because I don't play that game, do the costumes actually give you any kind of benefits at all?
It's all cosmetic.
Yeah, it's just straight cosmetic.
Even like weapons and things like that, they're all
it's all just cosmetic.
If anything, there have been skins that unintentionally gave you an advantage.
Yeah.
They went back and retconned, but if anything, most of the skins that you purchase actually give you a disadvantage. They're either super bright or super big. And so it's actually a disadvantage to buy cosmetics.
Right.
Yeah, if anything.
Okay. So this is the interesting thing. It is also known there will be no microtransactions.
Thank freaking God.
Or DLC.
That's disappointing because when DLC first came about around like what, mid 2008 or so, everybody was thinking, oh wow, we could, instead of just buying a whole new expansion, we could just download a new expansion instead of just, getting half the game and getting the other half in DLC like they've been doing for the past 10 years. However, with if they had like DLC where it's like a whole nother expansion to the game, yeah, sure, that'd be great. But
well, this is a story-driven game, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it just Star-Lord? You're playing Star-Lord through the game.
Yeah, or maybe like they have something like that's just probably a bad
I've
example.
read somewhere that Star-Lord is the only playable character.
Yeah,
in the game.
Well, I was about to say it's maybe something like Final Fantasy 15, where before you just control Noctis, but in the subsequent DLC, you actually play some of the other characters, and you got to control those characters in the base game.
And it goes on.
I'm thinking maybe something like that. I mean, it is Square Enix.
Well, it says all of the extra outfits and cosmetics will be unlockable within the vanilla video game from the start, which is good. And according to an interview with EDS Montreal, that'll of course include outfits inspired from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that part of it sounds great. Also, no microtransaction sounds great, but no downloadable, no DLC at all. Like it doesn't even have to be paid DLC. They're saying there's going to be no DLC. So that means this is a one and done game. You play the story through it, and that's it. Which isn't bad. We've had games like that before, but.
I mean, people have been complaining about like, oh, why is all this DLC in the game? And now we actually get a game where it's like, look, here, $50, here's the entire game. And here we are complaining about it. So
no, I'm not complaining. I don't care if there's not DLC for a game. That
I was like, as long as what we get is good. Yeah, as long as what we get is good, fine.
DLC for me is something that can be added onto a game later that just keeps me, okay with the game until a new game comes out. I don't want my game to be chopped up just so I have to pay more for it later, and that's what most DLC.
Like I said, if they come out with say something like a $30 expansion, like they did back in the day, great.
I'm going to say there's two games that I really enjoyed. One of them did have a patch or expansion or DLC, whatever you want to call it. The other one did not, that I can think of, but I love them both. Was the most recent God of War, which I think was a masterpiece game.
It was a great game,
and even without the expansion, Horizon Zero Dawn was amazing. That game was amazing without the expansion. Now they did have the expansion that came out later on with the snow area, but even without that, the game was great. So you don't necessarily need DLC to drive your game. So maybe this is a good decision.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, if it's a full complete experience, great.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And like, I mean, remember back in the day, one of my favorite games of all time. I know we're talking about games on here, which is fine with me. Is Chrono Trigger.
Guardians is coming to Switch too.
Well, that's interesting.
Good luck.
But Chrono Trigger is one of my favorite games of all time. Back then on NES games, cartridges, there wasn't expansions. It was full game experience. I can go back and play that game now and not have to spend extra money for it. So
1 second.
I don't care about DLC.
So a few people are saying something like that. My favorite game is Pong. Absolutely.
I mean, that was one of the first games I ever played.
So Justice says, thanks to the tropical storm, I got rain here for the first. Oh, that's right. There was a really big drought going on.
I didn't know that. Like I said, I haven't been able to keep up with.
So that's great to hear. Actually, that's really great to hear. I mean, of course, you don't want the damage from the storm, but a lot of areas rely on storms for rain, which is great. So
cartridges didn't have expansions. Oh, I'm bleeding through.
What is that? What game?
I think that's Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic 3.
It's bleeding through. Yeah,
it should be Sonic 3 with Sonic and Knuckles expansion.
Yeah, it's bleeding through, but yeah.
Can't see it, and I still knew what it was. What's up?
This is an expansion.
Random fact: the writer of Loki can't dictate what another person's show is or isn't. He's not Kevin Feige. Just that's like somebody that wrote another movie is like, no, that other director and their writer, yeah, that's all shit. Doesn't matter, doesn't count.
Off topic, is it Tyrese that's in, I can't think of who it is that's in is it Morbius movie that said that it was in the MCU, the Sonyverse?
Yeah.
And they were like, they never came out and said that.
Yeah, but then no, I think they actually came back out and said that he was wrong. So that's why you don't listen to any of that. You don't listen to any of that stuff. Like here's the thing. I think everybody is pretty much accepted that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was an offshoot eventually of like he's showing him there. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was eventually an offshoot of like what the main timeline was. And I think that's fine. But being a separate timeline doesn't mean you're not canon. Not canon means you're not connected at all. It's just a completely different thing. And we know that's not true. So anyway, speaking of that, let's talk next about Kevin Feige, who's talking a bit about the Black Widow film. Now, we all know that's coming out very soon. How many weeks away is it now?
It's only like 2.5 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, it's like really soon. First of all, let me ask you guys, because we're going to see this. I'm hoping that Omega can go as well. We're going to see this. Are you excited about this? I really am, but my excitement for it is because I just like some of the characters in it. Are you excited for this movie or are you not? Because it is literally a prequel movie. Like there's no stakes for Black Widow in this film because we know what happens to her. And typically that ruins things for me, but I want to see these other characters too. I want to see what happens to them.
Like I said, with a lot of stuff, I'm interested. I don't have too many expectations or anything. If I go in and have a good action flick, hey, I'm fine. That's pretty much my expectation.
My hype for this died down years ago.
Yeah, honestly.
I still want to see it. I'm excited to see it. Yeah. I know when I sit down to watch the film, I will enjoy it, but it's like we're so far apart from that character now to go and see it now. It's just I'm excited and I want it to do well, and I can't wait. I
actually think this. What's exciting to me about this is
gone.
It's kicking off the next batch of Marvel films. So now that this is coming out, all the dominoes can fall in place. That's the problem. Yeah. We were waiting for this movie for that to happen. So it says here, what could the Marvel Cinematic Universe look like after Avengers Endgame? That's a question we're still asking even 2 years and several movie and TV show releases after the Apocalypse Marvel movie hit theaters. But it's the one that Marvel Studios chief Kevin Feige is still feeling out as we forge ahead into phase 4. On the TV side, Marvel is still using the chance to explore the traumas of characters like Wanda Maximoff or Bucky Barnes. On the film side, with the upcoming Black Widow, the studio is looking back, expanding on the time periods in which we didn't see the character. In fact, Feige says that he's open to the idea of exploring other Marvel characters with prequel movies similar to Black Widow. And he goes on to say, certainly this film and the story is a particular case for Natasha, but the notion of exploring the past, present, and future of the MCU is certainly in the cards for all of our characters. This particular story of this particular cast is very personal, very specific to Natasha. And then it goes on to say here, and then we'll talk about this. Black Widow takes place between the events of Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War, and goes even further back, touching on Natasha's past and her upbringing in the Red Room, which turned her into a cold-blooded assassin before she defected and joined S.H.I.E.L.D., although a prequel is the only kind of story that Black Widow could have been, considering Natasha's death in Avengers Endgame. So, thoughts on this? More Marvel prequel films? Are you happy with this? And if you are, what characters do you think could be in a prequel film?
No, we talked about this pre-stream.
Yeah.
I want it in a Disney Plus format now. Now that I've seen, we always said that the Netflix shows were great because it gave us time to expand on a character, give us time to actually see what's going on. If you're giving me a prequel to a character, then that means you're giving me their character growth, because nothing is going past it other than the character, if that makes sense. So give me episodes, don't give me a movie.
Yeah, I agree. I would just pair what he says. I'm in total agreement.
So you're enjoying the longer format storytelling on Disney.
You just have more time and more. You could tell a bigger story and a better story within several episodes, which usually probably equate to like maybe 6-8 hours, than you can in just 2.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're doing a prequel, you're focusing on one specific object usually, or person. So like if you're going to focus on that person, instead of just giving me an hour and a half of that person, just give me 6 episodes and make it a little bit more engaging for how that person's day-to-day life is. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. I would say based on what we've had on Disney Plus, they can pull off the level of film quality on TV now, because we saw it, WandaVision, obviously special effects weren't the main, well, they were the main focus, but they weren't like these big, huge battles that we normally get. Whereas Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we saw like movie level fighting, movie level fight scenes and things like that. And in Loki, we're seeing that they're dumping money into the show to make it look as cinematic as possible. So I think it is possible to tell longer stories with some of these characters in prequels. I think it is something that can be done. So say, for example, we get a prequel that is in the form of a TV show. If that is like, if you guys had your wish list, is there any character in particular that you would want to see get a 6-episode treatment on Disney Plus that is not a main character in the MCU?
Look, some people have been saying in the chat, Isaiah Bradley would be a great choice. I'm not sure about Black Panther. It'd be interesting, but I don't know exactly how they could put it.
I mean, you mean the original?
Yeah,
right?
Maybe
T'Chaka.
Yeah. Maybe just expand more on the whole Atlantis versus Wakanda conflict.
It's tough for me because if you're talking prequel, I mean, that has to be people that are already in the MCU, right?
Well, yeah. So, people that have been there for at least like some amount of time. You wouldn't do a prequel on somebody that's spent 5
I wouldn't do a prequel. I wouldn't do a prequel on Black Panther yet. Maybe after Black Panther 2, maybe doing one, possibly. I don't know.
I can't.
You know what would be a really good prequel? The in Guardians of the Galaxy, who did they introduce as a team that never got
the original Guardians?
Yeah, the originals. Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. I'd be fine with that. I thought they were going to try and do a spinoff with,
because they have de-aging technology. Look what they did with Sam Jackson and Captain Marvel. So
I mean, yeah, they could easily do de-aging with anybody that they put in there. I guess that would be okay. I mean, I'd be okay with that. I don't know. There's nobody in the MCU that I can think of that I'm like, I want to see more of this person in a pretense.
The crazy thing is that almost every character that we know of, with the exception of the Eternals and Isaiah now, was introduced to us at the beginning of their like superhero time. Like there's very few that were superheroes before that we didn't know about.
Right. Like maybe seeing Hank Pym as Ant-Man, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's really the only thing we could do. But even then, if they did that, I can guarantee they would probably just get another actor to play a younger version of him. Yeah. So it wouldn't even be the same actor at that point. Because if we're talking about like Ant-Man in his heyday, and plus but see, the problem is when you talk about characters that are like that are passing on titles like Ant-Man, we've already seen Ant-Man. We've already seen the evolution of that character. Like if you go back to the beginning, unless you're going to bring us something new, there's no point in telling that story. So I don't even know if that would be worth it. I just think the original Guardians would be fun because they're so different. They're the ones from the comics that I loved, that I think would be cool to see, or whatever. But who knows? Kevin Feige seems to be, set on this idea of doing more prequels. And whether it's TV or movies, I think we're still going to end up getting. I think Black Widow is just the beginning of this. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of it probably. So maybe that's why they wanted Captain America back. Maybe we're going to get more like Captain America stories with him as a stealth character.
Oh, Captain America. I'm thinking Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Like back when he was just doing stealth jobs, there was a lot of time there that we didn't know about. But the problem with that is, does that take away from the new Captain America? Like,
because it's got to be like a character that's something that won't take away from the current character or something.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Do something like that. Yeah.
Like, are you going to tell an Iron Man story after you introduce a new person playing Iron Man? I mean, it seems crazy to me.
So no, I don't want prequels at the moment.
Yeah, Introverted Unicorn says that they want more of Ghost Rider. I would love Ghost Rider.
That one specifically, not a new one.
I can admit when I'm wrong, because when I first heard that Ghost Rider was coming to TV, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna suck. It's gonna be bad, right?"
Yep.
But it ended
I
up
thought
being
the same
amazing.
thing.
So,
and then I saw it, and I'm like, "It's actually pretty good."
Yeah. Fireflame62 with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I'm calling it now. Sword and the Fantastic Four will team up. I mean, I guess they could. It's all cosmic related stuff. So, I mean, it is possible. The Fantastic Four, even though they're Earth-based, they're very space. They're very connected.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff in space.
Or do we think we're going to see more of Sword?
I mean, they're introduced. So, I mean, I guess so. I'm thinking if we're going to see more of it, it's either going to be in Secret Invasion TV show or in the Marvels, the second Captain Marvel movie. That's what I think. So Skybound says at least bring Robbie Reyes into the MCU proper. I mean, they tried. They were going to do a show.
I'm so mad that show didn't. Like they freaking made the Inhumans. And you're telling me you can't make a Ghost Rider show? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So this next thing we're going to talk about, we're going to spend the next 10 minutes or so talking about the Supergirl suit from the DCEU.
Let's go. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I'm all fresh eyes here.
These are set photos. They're not official releases. So we may get better shots of this, like with the cape and everything later on. But right now it's just set photos. So I never 100% judge something until I see it in action. Still frame set photos are never usually the best.
No, I judged the Apocalypse stuff before.
And
it was still bad.
Oh, you mean Ivan Ooze?
Yes.
Well, that one was so bad. There was no way. There was no way to make that look better on screen, in my opinion. So, so we're going to share this. If you don't want to be spoiled on this, turn away for like 10 minutes, and then we're going to talk about Loki. All right. So here we go. Let me make sure I have the right window open. Yes, I do. So we're going to start off looking at the Henry Cavill set photo suits of his suit, so we can get an idea of like how it looks without the cape, because this was the DCU Superman suit without the cape. So keep in mind that the Supergirl suit is also filmed without the cape.
Can we just appreciate like his, like, I know we're judging the suit, but just him as Superman is like, he's Superman.
Yeah.
Can we just?
Yes, it's perfect.
I love Henry Cavill.
I don't know him personally. I don't know somebody's going to be like, oh, you said you loved Henry Cavill. He said this 10 years ago. I don't know him personally. I love him as Superman.
Yeah. I liked him as Geralt.
Well, yeah. And The Witcher. Yep. So.
By the way, when is that second season coming out?
I know, right?
So, all right. So here we go. This is going to be the Supergirl suit. Keep in mind set photos. Here we go. There it is. That is the Supergirl.
Nope. I like
it. Nope.
I like it.
Nope.
I mean, the abs look kind of weird, but
yeah. So the color scheme, I like.
Yeah.
The actress, I don't. What has she played in anything else?
Sasha Calle. I think she's a soap opera actress, I believe.
Okay.
Let me see.
I think she looks good. But the suit itself, the abs look really bad. I mean, that's a bad angle.
Yeah, that's my only.
So she's known for The Young and the Restless. That's what she's been on, is Young and the Restless. So,
dude, the last time I saw Young and the Restless was like 1989.
Yeah. So they are going to CGI cape. That's pretty much, we know for sure they're going to do that. So here are my thoughts on just this photo. And again, I'm not totally judging it yet because I don't think it looks like awful. Like there are parts of it that I don't like, but I will say this. And this is no offense because I love the TV shows. You guys know how I feel about TV shows. This looks like a first stage TV costume to me. It doesn't look like a movie costume. And that's because the TV costumes are elevating and they're catching up to the movie suits, but they're not quite there yet. So for me, I could see this as a TV show suit. I don't necessarily know if it's what I expected for a movie costume. Now, that doesn't mean it's bad. It just doesn't look as cinematic as I guess I would like. Now, the cape may make the difference for it. I don't know. I think the abs stitched in look really, really weird. I think it would have just been, it should have been like a flat sort of like, I don't know, just a flat material or something like that. There's a couple of other pictures here if we can get some better shots of it. I looked it up here on Twitter. Here's some other pictures. This is a better shot of the suit there. You can see the top of it. I don't think it looks awful to me.
No, well, here's the thing. I like the material look that it looks like it's made out of, but there's no, like, I don't see any reason on this planet why a Superwoman, Supergirl, Superboy, Superman would need fake abs.
And you can see, like, if you see there that up at the top, you can see where the cape actually attaches for film, like for regular filming.
I just don't understand. I don't understand the point of it.
I don't like the abs. I don't mind the design of the suit. I think the suit looks like an elevated TV suit, which isn't bad because Tyler Eklund's TV Superman suit is amazing. So I don't think that's a problem. Does it go all the way up to like what I would consider to be like a movie level suit, like the Wonder Woman armor or the Aquaman armor, or whatever? No, it doesn't have that same effect to me. I think the abs cheapen the suit. I think it makes the suit look very, very cheap. Another suit that I had an issue with because of the padding was the Shazam costume from the first movie. I liked the suit, but I felt like it was overstuffed in some places. And I understand why they do it. They want the characters to feel like these comic book characters where they're exaggerated and things like that. But I just don't think she needs the abs on the suit. I just don't.
Yeah. That's, like I say, I liked it. That's my only gripe.
Yeah. Other than that, I think it's a great suit. And I mean, if it's something that's like, I think Gary said that it could be a wire rig. If it is, then it will be removed in the movie, and then there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Again, these are set photos. These aren't trailer or film stuff. But color scheme wise and the material wise, I actually like it. But I do see where you could actually see this suit in a CW show, and it would be that's acceptable.
Now, that doesn't speak to the detriment of a film. I think there's some film costumes that are just so cinematic you wouldn't see them in TV shows, and one of them is the Aquaman gold armor from the movie. Like, that's just, there's no way that would be on a TV show. It's just way too expensive. This one, though, reminds me of something like an elevated show would do, like you'd see on like Superman and Lois or something like that. That's not necessarily a bad thing, you know? How can a suit be woke? Explain to me how that's even possible.
Oh, I know how it could be woke because it's fully covered and it's like it doesn't have the skirt.
Those people it
doesn't have a skirt like it had like in the 50s and whatnot. I'm
just gonna say this right now. This is coming directly.
Why doesn't her legs show? Why does it make my penis hard?
Stop calling everything woke. It's fucking stupid. Period.
This shit is woke. It has no cleavage. I can't see your boobs. Doesn't make the dick hard. That's how they sound.
All right.
No, that's exactly how these idiots sound. Like, dear God, the suit looks fine.
Not calling someone's clothing woke. It's literally like I just can't. I really, really, really can't. That totally just blew my mind for a second. Like, I have heard some ridiculous stuff. That is just the most ridiculous thing ever.
No, dude, I go to 4chan and on Poll and all those other places. I know how these idiots sound. Okay. That's exactly what they would say.
So I'm going to share the screen here. Now, there's a possibility that she is going to be Kara Zor-El, but then there's also the possibility she's going to be Laura Lane Kent, which is an Injustice character. Looking at her, this looks exactly like the one we just saw in the photos. The suit is pretty much this. Or it's possible she could be Kara, and they just use this design, and she's Kara from another timeline or another multiverse. Either way, this is what it's supposed to look like. And I have no issues with this. I don't think there's another shot of that suit. No, that's the only one here. Pretty much it's the same as what we saw. It's just got a cape on it. So anyway, all right. So Supergirl costume, any final thoughts on that before we move to the other stuff?
Yeah, it's fine. Outside the abs, it's fine. It doesn't need a skirt. It doesn't need short legs or anything like that. It's fine. Now, I would it shorter legs? I mean, I wouldn't complain, but it doesn't need to. It's fine. Terminator, what would you like to say?
Yeah. Anything? Nothing. Oh, jeez. All right. Laura Lane Kent is from the Injustice universe. So there we go. Yeah, I mean, her last name is Lane Kent.
That's just in case people didn't know. That's fine.
I know. I just, there we go. Cyber seems so disappointing. Like, so funny. All right, so we're at the halfway mark now, and it is time to start talking about Loki. Let's move on from the ridiculous nature of a costume being woke. And we're going to be talking about the episode titled The Variant. There we go. Second episode of Loki. And we kick off this episode basically with a Renaissance fair that took place in the 80s, I believe. Was it the 80s?
Yeah, 85.
It was.
80, yeah.
In Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So interestingly enough, Wendell Vaughn, who plays Quasar, is from Oshkosh. Yes, from that place, I believe. I think he was. I remember seeing that somewhere. Anyway, so the Ren Fair, I saw on social media, some people were saying that was actually filmed, or that was actually a Ren Fair that was going on in Robotville. That was a Ren Fair that was going on in Atlanta at the time. So any thoughts on this?
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
What did you think about this?
Just an Easter egg or something.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the scene was okay. I that's whatever. I thought that the fight scene in it was awful. I thought it was very awful. But
in the Ren Fair part of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah, it was kind of bad.
But overall, it was okay. It played, what was it? I Need a Hero. I mean, that song's been getting a lot of exposure.
Yeah, I've been hearing that like 80 times a day.
Which is fine. I like the song, but
I'm kind of tired of it.
Every trailer and movie possible, and now TV shows.
I feel like it was a really cheap song to buy now. Maybe that song
because it's fun. Yeah, because it's cheap. That's why.
So I want to talk about this as well before we get too far. And the reason why I brought up Atlanta and the Ren Fair is, did you notice anything in this episode that looked familiar?
I mean, define that, because that's weird.
Really?
The TVA, the elevator scene and everything was filmed in the Marriott.
No, Atlanta. I did know. Okay, no.
It even has the carpet from the Marriott in some of the scenes.
I did know that was a Marriott. I didn't know if that was the one that was in Atlanta or if it's just is that the one that's in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay. So I
can pull this up.
We made a joke about it being. I didn't know it was the Marriott, but we made a joke saying it.
It was like in the back. I was thinking about.
No, let me show you, because when I show you like Cyber and Omega, you're gonna immediately recognize this. That's the elevators, and that is the elevators from the Marriott.
Yeah, sure it is. I was like, wow, that place looks kind of familiar, but it's they just copy paste to other floors, so they made it look a lot bigger than it is.
This is 2018. This is 2018.
Yeah.
And this is the Loki trailer. It's literally, because I mean, first of all, that hotel looks like
huge.
Futuristic
Futuristic
hotel. So anyway, go ahead. What you're going to say, Cyber?
No, we had made a comment about it, and then someone else made a comment about it on a YouTube video, but I didn't know that it was actually that Marriott. So that's cool.
So the reason why we're going crazy about this chat is that this is where Dragon Con is, and we go to Dragon Con
every year.
Almost every year.
Yeah, we've been there
every year. And having a show like this at this level in the robot world, filmed at the Marriott where we go to is pretty exciting.
Yeah,
because
I
mean, we have been there. Like, I know that hotel up and down. Like, we've been there so many times. And then I saw the carpet. I was like, they even filmed interior scenes in the Marriott, which is probably in the halls where they do the vendor stuff. They just they dressed it up to film in, I'm pretty sure. So that's pretty cool.
My wife just texted me and said, I wasn't joking. I knew it was the Atlanta Marriott. So there you go.
Oh,
so she knew.
All right. So when the evil variant attacks the Minutemen and touches them, causing them to be possessed. This is something like what Loki did with the staff in the Avengers, except his was more like just control, where the other Loki was able to like basically be in them or be in their body. And I think Loki, when he finally catches up with her at the end, calls it a possession trick or something. What does he call it? It's like a
I forgot.
Yeah,
I can't tell you. I forgot.
Sure. It's that chat.
It was like some enchantment or something. I do remember the word enchantment.
Yeah. So one of the funny things is when Mobius is showing Loki the various variants that they know or whatever, we have like a bike riding Loki, like a Hulk looking Loki, a traditional Loki with like horns growing out of his head, like an armored Loki, and then like one that looked like the Loki we know or whatever. Do you think we're going to see any of these variants at all, or do you think that was just fun?
No. That's just that was just explaining that they will not look like the actor that is playing Loki here. That's all that was. That's all.
I thought they were all cool except for the cyclist Loki. I was like, that's just ridiculous. Like it
was just there for a gag.
Yeah, it was pretty silly. It's also interesting that Loki was explaining to them how his magic works.
I thought that was interesting though.
Yeah, because didn't he explain the differences between like the two different
illusion, a duplicate, and that was actually pretty cool.
So he goes, duplication casting. No, they're completely two different powers, actually. Like, which would mean like shape shifting and changing bodies. All of it's different stuff. Do you think the TVA actually knew this, or do you think that Loki was schooling them a little bit? Because I feel
I think he was schooling them. Yeah, because how would you know if you didn't know?
Yeah, like I'm about to put it in some really nerdy D&D terms. Take like you just do alter self level 2 spell. Alter self is you just basically change your outward appearance. And if someone passes a check, like an intelligence check or whatever, they can see through the illusions like, yeah, this is fake. Polymorph, which is like I want to say 8th level spell, transmutation spell, which will completely change your entire body into whatever. It's a complete total transformation. It's like, no, there's two different.
Yeah, you become that versus
just having like an outward appearance. Yeah, there's two different things.
Natalie Holt is such a fantastic composer for the series. Holy hell. The music is really cool.
It is.
It reminds me of like this weird, like almost Stranger Things type soundtrack, which I don't think is a bad thing. Let's see. So this is one of the things I wrote out on my notes is that and I know it's probably just me digging and creating theories or whatever, but the Mobius's coaster, when he talks about like leaving marks on the table or whatever, was in the shape of a hexagon. So it's like,
here we go.
WandaVision connection confirmed.
Yep. Yeah, here we go. They're all in the hex. It's Mephisto.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just commenting on the music. I think the music's great.
Yeah. So we have this a lot of this episode deals with trust when it comes to Mobius and Loki. And Mobius to some degree knows what Loki is capable of and knows what he can do up to a certain point, because within the TVA, and we established this in the episode, that's the only place where free will actually exists, is within the TVA, because outside of that is where time actually happens. Inside the TVA, time doesn't happen. It's almost like it's forever and it's never. It's like it's just a non-existential type place or whatever. Is that the word, non-existential?
It is now.
But they deal with this throughout the episode. I thought they did a really good job, because he calls Loki like a scared little boy, like a shiver boy or something like that.
Right.
And, Loki is dealing with knowing what he did originally before he became a variant versus what he's capable of. What were you going to say, Omega?
Oh, no, I was making a correction. There's something I was saying earlier. Polymorph is a 4th level spell. True polymorph is 9th level. Anyway, go ahead.
So, extra deep.
No, I was saying, I was reading the chat.
Sound clip that extra deep.
No, people in the chat was like, you lost me, dude.
So John Stowe says there's a theory that TVA is in the quantum realm. I don't think so. I think the TVA is just a separate thing.
Well, according to certain theories, once you start going into like subatomic particles and stuff, time kind of ceases to be, being that it's kind of just doesn't affect particles of that size anymore, because quantum mechanics is effing weird.
But I don't think. But I don't
think they're going by that theory in this universe. So
yeah. I think that the TVA is just a pocket dimension that's outside of time.
It's just some pocket dimension.
That's what I have to say. So let me see. I've got my notes here going through. So we see after Loki comes back or whatever, Mobius sets him at the library and he's like, "Go through this and figure out what's going on," kind of thing or whatever. And immediately Loki wants to find out everything he can about the Time Masters or the Timekeepers.
Yeah, what's happened at the beginning of time? What happened at the end of time? Classified.
Yeah. How can you defeat them? Like all of these ridiculous things that of course he would ask, because he's just like, I just want to be able to do this, that, and the other. And all the while he thinks that this mystery of him having the chance to talk to these space lizards, as he calls them, is something that nobody else has figured out. And of course, Mobius already knows that's what he wants out of this. And so this kind of becomes a thing. Do you think he knew this from the beginning, or do you think he just figured it out throughout the episode? Because I feel like he knew from the get-go that Loki was going to be scheming to do something else, because that's just the nature of the character.
It's probably in the back of his mind. He's just expecting it, because Loki, the trickster god and everything. He's expecting the backs. He probably wants to trust him, but he's like, no, he's going to backstab me sometime. Just no matter when.
Ultimately, he's using Loki to get to the other Loki, and no matter what Loki does, it's gonna point him in that direction. Whether he stabs him in the back or whether he doesn't, he was going to eventually find his way to the other Loki. So Mobius, he 100% knew that was what was going to happen.
It's not that she knew. That's just files that they're not allowed to give out to anybody. Like, why would how do I defeat the space?
Well, she probably just looked him up because he said like, what files can I look at? And she was like, okay, this is who you are. You can look at
look at this file, right?
Which, by the way, I don't know if you noticed in the files they had the Revengers listed, which was the team from Thor Ragnarok, the Revengers or whatever.
Oh yeah.
The Easter eggs in this episode are astronomical, which actually make me angry and excited.
Like when he said that he could go back in time and basically push Thor off the Rainbow Bridge, I thought, or push Hulk off the Rainbow Bridge. Yeah. So.
Well, just in general, like when we get further in the episode and we talk about the other things that happened and a lot of the things that were said in the episode, and it's like, if you really deep dive into this, or if you go watch other people on YouTube that really like start saying, "Oh, this is from comic book 1965 issue 35."
In my notes, I have so many of that, and I'm like, that's too deep. Like, I'm not. Well,
the thing is, I'm
like the 372 in the background was
which was a comic book from Look, chat. I know that you guys are probably wanting us to go deep dive into that, and if Eric or Omega want to, that's perfectly great. Those theories for me, those Easter eggs are just that. They're there for us to go look at.
I learned my lesson from WandaVision.
Yeah, if you try to figure this show out based on what's happening and those small little background details, if it does, and then we go back and be like, "Wow, I didn't see it," I'm not playing. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't, man.
Yeah, we learned our lesson from WandaVision. Because like, it's going to do this. Is it going to bring in mutants? No.
I realized this that the shows that are written from those people, the writers, directors, or whatever that are involved in these shows, they're told what's going on in the MCU, but they themselves are not going to make some huge reveal of something that hasn't already been established. You know what I mean? Like the dark.
Well, I think a lot of it is for people that want to dive deeper, because if you their Easter eggs to me are non-consequential things. Like if there's something in an episode that is there, like, oh, issue blah 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 of this character is like the backstory for this thing. That's cool. If you're a comic book fan and you love that stuff, like, yeah, we love those kinds of things. But for the average viewer, it doesn't matter because it doesn't connect to the story. It's just there.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to drive the story. Is what I'm getting at. It's not driving the story.
Yeah. So I will say I thought it was funny when Loki said that he had never stabbed anyone in the back, and he's like, "You've literally stabbed people in the back." Like that was pretty.
It's like I wouldn't do it again.
See, they expect you to do it again.
Let's see. Where is it at? More notes. I'm skipping through all the Easter eggs. I don't want to talk because we're running out of time. I don't want to talk about all the Easter eggs and stuff.
I mean,
like
some of them are pretty cool. Like when, well, I guess when we get to the end of the episode, certain things there would be interesting.
Well, that's why we're moving into that now. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So Loki determines that the easiest place in a funny scene with a salad, which by the way was hilarious, but he determines that the easiest place for this variant to go is inside of an apocalypse, because nothing you change in an apocalypse is going to matter.
Everyone's going to die anyway. So who cares if you tell somebody, oh yeah, y'all all going to die? They can't get out fast.
I think they go to like what is it, Mount Vesuvius? Or whatever. Yeah, and they go there to prove it. It's proven. It does cause no variation whatsoever in the timeline. Mm-hmm. So they determine that that's true, that Loki has figured this out. So they go to 2050
in Alabama somewhere,
with like Roxxon's version of Walmart.
Yeah, which is
Roxxcart.
Again, Roxxcart. That's, I mean, again, that's more things you can dig deep into if you want to.
Roxxon has been it's been sprinkled throughout like almost everything related to the MCU. Like it's been around for a while. So we get there and it's crazy. The place there's a storm bearing down. This is an apocalyptic storm. I think it's supposed to allude to like climate change creating like these like mega
superstorms,
hurricanes or whatever. But I thought it was funny. By the way, I've got a gnat in here now too. So,
it's fun. I'm telling you.
So it's just funny, some of the banter, like when Loki talks about how Thor found it annoying when he did all the changing around and stuff, because we find out the variant is like jumping from body to body. And leading up to, I guess, the big reveal that we get that the variant is actually a female version of Loki, which by the way, she says, "Don't call me Loki." And in a lot of the branding, she's called Sylvie, which is a version of the Enchantress later on. And so I'm curious, is this actually a variant of Loki, or is it just someone that maybe killed Loki and took over Loki's role in another timeline or something? Because I'm a little bit confused on because I don't remember this story from anything, from the comics or anything like that.
Yeah, it could be. You said Enchantress, right? My thing is this, and red herrings are everywhere in MCU, so that's why I'm just like, anyway. The TVA had to know at what point that variant became a variant, right?
Right.
So they would know if it's not Loki. They would have to know.
Now, in the comics, the character Sylvie gets her powers from Loki, but I don't know if that's necessarily what's happening in this series.
I would love to see if it's not Loki. Whatever. If it's not Loki, that's interesting to me, but I don't see why it wouldn't be. Now, the powers don't work the same, right? And so maybe it's not. If it's Lady Loki, I'm fine with that. If it's Enchantress, that's cool. I just don't understand the motivation of why it wouldn't be Loki unless she's doing it in Loki's name. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said before, I'm just along for the ride.
Fireflame 62 with the $5 super. Do you think the other analyst that Mobius mentions is King? No, I don't think we're going to see King the Conqueror in the series. I'd be really, really surprised if we did. And it's not because I don't think it's possible. I just don't see why that would be the thing. I think the protagonist is Loki, and the antagonist is Sylvie, female Loki. And I
don't think that's the antagonist.
Who do you think the antagonist is?
I think it's the TVA.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. I think they're probably the bigger picture at the end.
And, what's the name? That judge lady? I forgot her name. I think she might be an antagonist
I feel like this series is going to eventually reveal that, but I think for the duration of the series, it's going to be like she will be the antagonist. I think. Go ahead.
I want to nitpick. We're going off the rails real quick.
Okay.
So, in the first Avengers, which is what this Loki is based off of, when he showed up, Captain America showed up to fight him.
Right.
And literally couldn't hurt him. He stood toe to toe, but couldn't fight him. Iron Man shows up, shoots him, they kidnap him, blah, 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 right? Why is it that the people that she possessed was able to throw Loki around like he's nothing?
Enchantment,
I think they were I think they were supercharged.
So that's what I was getting at. So her power would be like she actually becomes them and they gain her strengths. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Or she might even give them more power. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like that's if they ever dive into that. I just
like how Agatha gave
what's his name Speed.
Yeah, not Silver Surfer.
Ralph Boner.
Yeah.
Ralph Boner. Does this episode confirm the MCU gets destroyed? No.
I don't think that was a serious one.
No, it's just that one area is where that happens, not the entire MCU. So anyway, getting back to this. We got the let's see, where's it at? We got the big reveal that she had planted those
reset grenade thingies
around this Walmart or this Rox cart, and she put teleporting devices on each one of them so they go out at different times and reset or whatever, basically causing a shitstorm because she does this. They all go off, and we see the sacred timeline branch off,
completely screw up
like a million different things. Mm-hmm. So do you think that, because I think that's it. I don't think they're gonna be able to rein this back in. Mm-hmm. I think this is literally gonna restart the multiverse, and that's why we're gonna get this multiverse of madness or whatever. Because I think this series is gonna set up the possibility that anything can happen.
Mutants!
Which is why What If is coming out after this.
Basically. Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't catch that.
This show didn't exist. It wasn't in the phases, right? So the fact that it exists now and they're writing it the way they are, I think this will not be resolved in the next 4 episodes or whatever. Right. But I think it will be very narrowed down. Like obviously they're going to try and make it to where it doesn't destroy the whole sacred timeline or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do think that what do we think was the goal of this? Like, because the Easter eggs that I am interested in are the dates that it showed in the areas of each area that they were trying to reset, from Titan to Asgard to Xandar. Like all those places were places that those reset charges were sent to.
Right.
Titan, it was sent to Titan. So what's the purpose? What's the goal? Do we have any idea of what this goal may be? Is it to make the timekeepers show up?
Yes.
Yeah, because they're probably have to come in the open. Fix thing. Yeah, they're probably gonna have to come in, fix it, and that's when this Loki strikes.
Well, they talked about a timeline war, which makes me think multiverse of madness.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it's leading me to, is the idea that's gonna, because you got to think this is gonna happen, and then we're supposed to get that weird Spider-Man Spider-Verse movie. In December, and then obviously Doctor Strange 2 and stuff.
That's gonna be interesting because people are probably gonna be wondering, like, why is all these all these movies come out and none of them all go together? It's like this is the reason why.
I think one of the movies will touch on it. Probably Doctor Strange will say, "Oh, Loki did this," and it'd be like, "What? Loki did this? How?"
So we don't know what season 2 of Loki is going to be. That's the thing. Is it going to be Loki in charge of the TVA, basically running things? Because that would be.
Or will it even have anything to do with them at all?
Or could it be Sylvie? Could it be this female Loki that's the season 2 character? We just don't really know, honestly, how it's going to end. So we have all these charges go off, and everybody at the TVA goes nuts. And then it's like, Mobius is like, "Oh, we need to go find Loki, and figure out what's going on." Because at this point, he still trusts Loki, but
he should.
The other agents do not trust Loki. So the bad thing is they don't see the other Loki variant get away. They see the Loki that they know, the one they've been working with, walk through the portal.
So
it looks really bad for him.
Although the head Minuteman, Minute Woman, whatever, she might be on Loki's side of it, because she knows that somebody, like when he touched the guy, and then she just went, she knows it's not him.
Not only that, I'm sure Mobius is going to understand that they weren't going to make it to that time portal before it closed. Right. So they would have lost the variant again. Loki going there, it's going
to be like a whole conflict. Can we trust him? Can we not trust him? Yes,
right.
You can.
But that's going to be the theme throughout the whole thing. My question is, right? How does Mobius not know where the timekeepers are, but that agent did? Like, how did she tell the Lady Loki or Enchantress where they were if Mobius didn't even know?
Because Mobius is in a different division. I don't think he's not.
So the soldiers know more than the investigators?
I don't think they're just soldiers. I think that they, like, the high ranking ones are more than just soldiers. Like, I think they're almost like judges to a degree. They determine and decide if someone is a variant or not a variant
type thing.
I mean, you're right. It would seem like he would know, but it's quite possible that they purposely prevented them from knowing that. Maybe she cast a spell on that soldier that made her reveal where they were. Maybe they all know.
I'm sure that I'm 100% sure she manipulated it, with magic or whatever.
Yeah, she's like a commander anyway. So
right,
but
what I'm saying is they may all know it, but it may be buried and suppressed in their psyche. Like,
I'm sure maybe they're just at the TVA. Maybe they're there. And she's just like, they're at the TVA. Like,
or maybe it's all a big lie. Maybe there are no timekeepers. Maybe there's something else going on.
Ooh, man, that's so possible.
What
it could just be the chick?
What if it's just her?
Be the chick?
What if it's just her? Or what if it's Loki? What if it's another Loki in charge of the TVA already?
I don't know about that one.
It could be, man.
It's a possibility, but I don't think they're going to go that way.
Theories I'm okay with. Not like, of course, these are crazy and out there, but it's still within the realm of the story of the show. I'm not looking at a little like, oh, they picked up a pencil that said Roosevelt on it. It must be Mephisto. I'm not going that route. It's not happening.
Yeah. Didn't Tom say he was done playing this version of the character? But that's the thing, though, is we don't know.
Yeah, Unicorn. Not to trust MCU.
We could get biker Loki for a whole season. We don't know.
Is it going to be like the Flash, where it's always a different version of Wells?
Maybe that could be the new gag moving forward. Who knows? Yeah, Clifford says Marvel lies. There's one thing they always do is they lie, and they do that on purpose.
They are inconsistently consistent. Or consistently inconsistent.
How many trailers have they butchered and doctored up to make us think one thing and then it's something else completely?
Or it's not even in the movie at all.
Yeah. So Maddie, this is one of the other things I saw. And guys, this is going to be the 5-minute warning. So if you have any super chats that you want to donate with or ask questions, please feel free to do that as we wrap this up. Maddie goes, all the TVA agents are kidnapped from time. That's the connection with Mobius and the jet skis. It's something he felt comfortable with in his previous life. That's one of the things is people are saying that the agents, because in the comics they're clones, but they're saying that the TVA just kidnaps people who are destined to die. Like they're already going to die anyway. Yeah. So they get them.
Or they're already variants or something. There's like, okay, you need to be erased or work with us.
Right.
What if he was going to die on a jet ski?
That's what I mean. Like they're basically saying that there are people they reach the end of their life, and so the TVA snatches them up. Like, say for example, he's on a jet ski, he falls over and breaks his neck in the water, and he's going to drown. They'll come in and they'll save them from that moment, so they go missing in real life, but they never get recovered because they were supposed to die anyway. And the TVA just recruits them and uses them as soldiers and people to work for them.
Just what Jon Snow some rules said, like just like Loki was destined to die by Thanos. So there's like, well, on top of him being a variant, so it's like, okay, yeah, work with us.
There's a difference though.
There's a slight difference on him.
The Loki variant that we have is not someone that was destined to die.
He's not destined to die by Thanos because he's not there.
Which is why they're trying to stop them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Whereas the other ones, they kind of like the apocalyptic event, no matter what they said to those people, they were going to die anyway.
Theory time. What if Sylvie, Enchantress, female Loki, Lady Loki, what if she's discovered that they are only trying to reset variants that choose to be variants versus the ones that are destined to die? And her whole philosophy with the reset charges were to go back and correct things that the timekeepers basically used to their advantage.
And they never joined the TVA to begin with.
Right. Exactly.
You change the future, you change the past.
Variants that make choices are reset, but the ones that aren't get to live through the TVA. So they're basically, I don't know, screwing with people's lives. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's deep. I at the end of the day,
are they going to go that deep? I don't know.
No, they might. They can simplify it very easily in like one sentence as to why they're doing that. So that's not. But to go on the layers upon layers of why this is happening or why that Enchantress / Lady Loki got to that point, at some point, that lady Loki / Enchantress had to realize that the TVA existed, was able to get the upper hand and elude them, and then take all of time, so to speak, to find every single event that the timekeepers have gotten to.
It's personal.
Right. There's
personal.
There's something there. I'm curious. I don't know what the motivation is. So I want to know what it is.
I feel like the motivation is that she doesn't want to be reset because she made a choice. That's what I think it is. I think that she believes that as a variant, she has the right to live and that they don't get to decide.
Well, Loki seems to have a problem with them saying there's no free will. So maybe that is what this person is going
Maybe that's what all Loki variants say is they want free will.
All want to rule, right? They should all be inherently the same.
So Maltor says it feels like the Travelers TV show. Yes, I remember that show. Basically, time travelers that came back from the future would inhabit bodies of people that were destined to die.
Kind of like
Quantum that way, so they didn't change time. Yeah, pretty much. I see a lot of arguments about good and evil in the chat, and it seems like a lot of people are going on about like
is Loki bad? Is Loki good?
In reality, no one is 100% good or 100% bad. Life is a series of gray areas for everyone. That's the reality of it. Now, we could talk about the utopian world of comic books and characters like Superman, who, if they show up as Superman and they're Superman all the time, then they're inherently good. I get that concept, but TV shows are never going to be like that. Movies are never going to be like that. You're never going to see a character written, at least not in any real way, where they're just 100% pure. That just doesn't exist in the real world. Everyone has a selfish need for things, and it comes across as evil sometimes. And yes, Loki may be doing things that seem selfish or whatever, but in the end, not everything he does is inherently evil.
Starfleet's not evil.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
I'll leave.
Yeah, right.
I'll leave. Goodbye.
So, I mean, we talk about this a lot, and we're going to wrap it up with this. The characters exist in a gray world, and some are like, there's like, if you're a fan of role playing, you will understand like chaotic good, chaotic bad, neutral good, neutral bad. Those are real concepts of what characters are, because that's how people are in the real world. So for me, I think a character being completely good or completely evil is very boring. The best villains are the ones that aren't 100% evil. They have motivations and things that make them seem relatable.
Yeah, and even then, they're kind of going away from the whole alignment chart and everything, because it's kind of like you're going to bounce around it.
Right. Daniel says, why can't Legends tell cool time travel stories like this? I don't know. Not sure. All right, so that's going to be pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it today. Next week, we'll be back on Sunday, or the end of this week, we'll be back on Sunday to talk about the next episode of Loki, which is coming up very soon.
Do we want to give ratings?
Sure. Do you want to rate this episode? Go for it. What do y'all chat 1 to 10? 1 to 10. What do you think?
I would give this one an 8.5. I thought it was very well done. I did not like the fight scenes. I thought the fight scenes were very poor. I still think the fact that Loki was thrown around was just, I had a problem with that, even though they might explain it. So I that's what I would give it. I would give it that. I was a very good episode. Can't wait for Wednesday.
What about you, Omega?
I give it a solid 8. It was great. It was a good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I want to see more. I want to know what happens.
Before I give my score, did you guys think this was a better episode, like narrative wise, than the first one?
Narrative wise, yes, because the first episode was kind of just getting off the ground. I have to explain.
It's weird because so much has happened in the first 2 episodes. I feel like we've been watching it longer than 2 episodes. Does that make sense? Is there a weird time?
Yeah, I know exactly how I feel.
I mean, technically, we've watched a full movie at this point. It's been between the 2 episodes. It's been long enough to be one movie. So I would say I'd give it an 8 as well. I think it was a very solid episode, and I'm looking forward to where we're going. We got 4 more episodes of Loki.
It was just funny because there's this one YouTuber guy I watch, and he was basically going on saying this is bad storytelling, and then the next day he has a video saying, "Was I wrong about the storytelling in this?"
I'm enjoying this episode. I mean, this series thus far. am really interested.
I will say this: I think had WandaVision not done 2 episodes back to back, people would have been frustrated with the first episode of WandaVision.
Yep, people would be like, "All right."
I feel like Loki, unfortunately, they didn't want to release 2 45, 50-minute episodes together. But I think if they would have released episode 1 and 2 back to back, it would have probably been received differently.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion about it.
Yeah,
so
I agree with that.
All right, we're heading out. Cyber, any thoughts? Anything going on with you? I know you're back streaming pretty regularly now.
I am definitely trying to stream pretty regularly. We are trying to move. I'm still trying to get everything set up. I might use the setup we're using here for YouTube. I don't know if I want to use my Twitch overlays and stuff like that, but we are going to slowly transition to a YouTube style format like this. Omega is supposed to help me with the testing, which we'll probably do here in the near future. So it is free to follow me on YouTube. It is free to follow me on Twitch. Some of y'all have actually gone over to Twitch and followed me when I'm not live, and I come back and it's great to see the growth. So definitely hop on over there and give me a follow, and we can talk about whatever while we're gaming. It doesn't have, you don't have to wait for the Weekly Geekly to get my inside information.
A little preview?
Yeah, get a little bit. So, but just follow me there. It's Cyber Ninja on like everything. So,
all right. Omega.
I am going to be doing hot tub streams and twerking to the greatest twerk anthems you have ever seen, ever heard. No, I'm not doing any of that mess. I will be streaming a bit more nowadays. Probably some more PSO2, New Genesis, some Mass Effect. I remembered it. Maybe a few other games, whatever holds my fancy at the time. I have been putting out some more artwork on my DeviantArt page. My latest one, a lot of people actually have been liking. Thank you so much. It was kind of just a test render I threw up on there.
I'm saying, man, get it out there. They don't know if they don't know, and they don't know if you don't tell them. We can all know and grow together. There's no furry stuff on my DeviantArt page. I don't like that stuff. It's not my thing, but hey, y'all have fun. Anyway, I probably will be streaming some Final Fantasy 14, probably some Star Trek Online, obviously. Okay. And that's about it, really.
All right. Well, that means I'm out. By the way, you can follow them both on Twitter. That's their at Cyber Ninja, at Omega Welltall.
On everything.
So hit them up on there.
Omega Welltall, pretty much everything.
All right. And we're out of here. So I will catch you guys on Wednesday, and we will see you back here on Sunday for another episode of the Weekly Geekly. Take care.
Live long.